Hey, it's Trader Joe's again. This is like part two, I guess, of the other video that I just did about the Omanzan and the kit that I got from Chris Reeves. I noticed after I reassembled it that when I went to go close the blade, I kept hearing this noise, like a tick tick, like a weird noise that I never heard before. And when I looked carefully at it, the blade was hitting the handle scale, the side of the blade, up by the top of the belt, or the shoulder here, and I realized that it was not centered. So I took it apart again and then reassembled it, and now it's dead center again. I don't know what I did wrong. And then I also noticed that I had this pivots or whatever, this handle screw facing the wrong way. It doesn't really matter, but like the rounded side was on this side, and then I noticed that this had the screw on this side as well. So I just flipped that around and put that back together. But it's interesting, that you could you can adjust the action of it with that tool, unlike the Sebenzas, which doesn't really need that. All right, so I'm gonna use the Chris Reeve's Fluorinated Grease on the Classic Sebenza that I have here. That is a little rough. Not that it's it's just that it probably just needs that kind of grease, as opposed to the grease that I had when I first did it. So if I go back to it again, I'm gonna just loosen up the pivot. I'm going to loosen up the topmost back spacer, and I'm going to take the pivot completely out. I'm going to use the Allen wrench to push the pivot screw all the way through. I'm going to open the blade. Be aware that the lock bar is going to try to slam against the other handle. So just put your finger on top and just to keep it from doing that. And then I'm going to pull the blade out with the bronze phosphorus washer, and the bigger washer is on the side of the thumb stud on the right hand model here. All right. Somehow I got a cut. I don't know how. Right. And so it looks like the washers are still in place on the handle, so I don't have to fish them out or anything. I'm going to take a paper towel and just clean out the area where the blades go. Where the handle comes together. The back of the what do you call it? Inside of the handle scales. It's very clean anyway, because I just did this a few weeks ago. Alright, and then the only thing that's really on there is the grease. So now with the Sebenza models, there's a large washer. Right? Remember, the large washer goes on the same side as the thumb stud on the right hand model. Right? There's also the bushing pin, which goes through the center of the tang, and it free floats. And so you could, if you want, push that pivot bushing clear through if you want, and then it'll just fall out onto the table. That's why I have this rubber mat here. Just be gentle about this, because you don't want to mar the titanium surface. It's very precisely machined, and you want to keep it from getting scratches. So last time I did this video, I used a Q-tip, because I didn't want to risk that. Right? When you have metal that's very precisely machined, its faces on it have a lot of, it's perfect, the way that it's machined. And if you take a piece of metal and you push against it, you run the risk of possibly scratching that metal. And if you do that, it could leave a scratch that is then going to start scratching any other piece of metal that's touching. So you have a chain of events going on, you know. So if you minimize all that, you have a tool that will last longer and perform nicely. All right, so I'm just cleaning off the old grease from the washers, and what I'll do now is I'm going to put a little bit of fluorinated grease on one side of the blade tang. I'm going to put a little bit on the inside of the hole as well. Just kind of use the applicator to smear it around. And I'm going to then, I'll put the pivot bushing through the center of the blade tang. Got a little bit of blood on that, so let's see. And then, so the bigger washer is on the same side as the thumb stud on this model. Right, and now the shoulders of that pivot bushing, are going to support the other washers, the washers that are on it. So I'm going to now draw a circle of grease around the opposite blade tang, and that's going to provide a place for the other washer to stick to. Now I have grease on the inside of the washers and the blade. Put a little bit on there, what the hell. Put a little bit on this side, line that back up. Let's see. Alright, now I have the grease and the washers. I'm going to put it back into the handle. I'm going to press the lock bar away so that there's room for it to fit. I'm going to gently position this, the blade and the washer sandwich between the two handle scales, and I'm going to slide it down until I can see through the whole assembly here, through the hole in the handles. Alright, and if I recall, let's see, where's my... What the hell did I do? All right. Now I'm going to look at the pivot bushing, pivot screws, and I'm going to make sure that they are lined up the same way. All right, now I can see through it. I'm going to take the rounded side, because it's rounded on this one. Just push that in. And you may have to wiggle the blade a little bit until it just starts to fall into place. Look through it and make sure that it's going in. Yep. Alright, flip it over and put this screw on this side. Start to tighten it in. And unlike the Sebenza, the Umnanzan, I can just tighten it down until I feel snug, and I don't have to really worry about it interfering with the action of the blade. So let's see. Oh yeah, that's a lot smoother than it was. Beauty. All right. So now we know that the Chris Reeve's grease is better than what I was using, which was it was just like that oil that I had, and so I recommend the Chris Reeve grease. The kit I got from Chris Reeve's for the Umnanzan came with 2 Allen wrenches, 2 Derlin tools for opening up the pivot, and a tube of Loctite. And this looks like this can go into there, and you can just keep it fresh. All right, and this is Trader Joe's, and hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it'll relieve any anxiety you might have about your ability to do this type of stuff, because I'm not the ultimate mechanic by any means. The only things I'm able to do really with a fair amount of confidence is change the oil in my car. So these are not that complicated in comparison. So I recommend you get the kit, and let's just look real quickly on the invoice here so I can tell you how much it costs. From Chris Reeve's Knives, this Manzan toolkit was $12.50. All right, and that included these two Derlin tools, two Allen wrenches, and the Loctite, and then I got 2 tubes of the fluorinated grease. Each one was $11.50. All right, and there was no tax. There was only a $2 shipping charge for all this stuff, so not bad. All right, so get this stuff. Comes in handy. Looks like there's quite a lot left in there, obviously, and you know, I'm sure I could use it for my other knives. All right, so Trader Joe's, and have a good day.